This is the DNA Pest Control Podcast with your hosts, Daniel and Anthony.
How's it going, everybody? So today is going to be a little bit different. It's only D today. We are without the A, unfortunately. So Anthony couldn't make it today, but we are going to be going over a few different things. I shouldn't say we. I'm going to have to get that out right now in the beginning before we go through everything. But I am going to be going over a few things today that are very important to technicians. It's very important to anybody who's in an office, and it's very important for owners as well, especially in the pest control industry. So today is really about making more by being more. Honestly, I feel that a lot of technicians are underpaid and undervalued, and a lot of the owners take advantage of that. I am not one of those. I'm not a believer in that. I'm honestly against it. One, I had to go through the process of becoming a technician, an operator, and then eventually an owner. And I went through times where I was doing a ton of work, learning a ton of things, and honestly, I wasn't getting paid what I was worth, which is okay, honestly. I look back now and I say, you know what? That was part of the learning experience. That was part of what I was doing to get to where I am today. But I wanted to give everybody a little bit of insight and understanding me as an owner, but hopefully what everybody else is as an owner as well. So whoever you work for, if it's just, if it's a big corporation and you're only dealing with a manager or, a branch manager or whatever, how can you become more valuable? How can you grow within that company? A lot of people say, when you start with a company that's big, there's no room for growth. Well, there's no room for growth if you're not willing to grow. And I want you to keep that in mind with today, and what I'm going to talk about is you are going to have to put in the effort. And I have a few stories I'm going to bring up, and actually one happened today. But to really get inside and understand the manager, at least the owner for me, if you're working for a smaller company, is, guys, you got to realize that we have a lot of stress. We have a lot of things we have to worry about. I am worried about a route. I'm worried about the office. I'm worried about finances. I'm worried about chemicals. I'm worried about safety. There's so many things I'm worried about and I'm overseeing and I'm looking into, and I'm trying to keep, in contact with all these major players in my company where, it gets overwhelming. And so the true value is where someone can come in and take that stress away. When I can trust someone to take control of something and run with it. And I don't mean a route, okay? I'm going to clarify that. Some of you might get mad with this, but it's okay. Get frustrated. I ran a route. I did everything. Running a route's easy, okay, guys? It's hard in the sense of you're out. It's super hot outside. You get tired. You get dehydrated. I get that. That is tough. You're dealing with customers. You're trying to keep a smile on your face. It is a little bit of mental. A lot of it's, actually physical work. But at the end of the day, that's all easy stuff. That's not hard, okay? That's not, you get told what to do. You get told how to do your route. Very simple things. You're doing the same thing day in, day out. It's not really big changes. So, that's the easy part. But you need to realize that coming in and taking the stress off, meaning you are going to take one of those key things off of the table from the owner, from that manager. Okay, running a route, that is what a job is for. That's what you're hired to do. I'm talking about stepping above that and saying, you know what? I'm not only going to take care of this route, I'm going to take care of any irate customers. I'm going to make sure that they're happy and no one is going to get calls from my route. When you start creating that for yourself and you start creating, that environment of no one is complaining about you, you are not creating more work, you become more valuable. That's when everything starts getting, everything starts turning around. So understanding the owner or the branch manager is having someone taking those stresses off of him so he can focus on other things. I am worried about certain things, but I have people in place that worry about those things for me. Do I still worry about them? Absolutely. But I don't worry about them every day because I don't have to, because someone else does that for me. We take a look at the office, when you have someone who's running your books for you, you don't have to look at the books every day. The books are getting taken care of. You can go and, double check and make sure that everything is getting taken care of. But once you do that a few times and that person's consistent with it, you eventually forget about that. You do go back in and check every once in a while, but it's not an every day. It's not every week. It's not all the time to where it becomes overwhelming. That person just created that value of taking that stress off of your shoulders. And so really, when we're going through these topics today, remember that what can you do? How can you do that for your company, for your route, for that manager, for the owner? And that is going to show you are going to be able to step apart, okay? I don't care if the guy has 20, 30 years and it's his best friend. The second that you step away from that and you start doing other things that are taking those stresses off of the owner, you soon will be right next to that guy. You are going to be right next to the owner because he wants you there, because he is confident in you that you are going to take those stresses off of him. Also is creating more value for him, whether it's a new technique, whether it's a new service, whatever it may be, creating those values and bringing it up to the owner is going to put you a step ahead of everybody else. If you're that guy because you want to be cool, which we all get it, you hang out with a bunch of dudes, all the techs, they get together, they're shooting the shit. I get it. You want to be the cool guy. You want to be, whatever, I don't care about anything. I get that, okay? But the unfortunate thing is that doesn't help you in life to get ahead. If you're in this industry, you get a lot of benefits. You get a truck, you get a phone, you don't have to waste your own gas. You're not paying for insurance. You're not paying for car wrecks or maintenance or anything. You have it pretty good in this industry. Now, how much more could you have? What if you had that truck to run your personal things? How much better would that be? What could you do if you were actually sitting in an office overseeing 12 to 15 technicians instead of just being that guy that's in the route and in the truck and a guy overseeing you? There's a lot of different positions and different places that you could be or that you can even create within your business. I'm not necessarily going to go over a bunch of different ideas of what you guys can do. I want you to think of that because a lot of you guys can actually see that from being, a route tech. You come up with those ideas from running that route, from doing those things. And you need to step apart from that. And you need to show that guy, that branch manager, that owner, what you're capable of, and showing that you're more than just a route tech. You're willing to think outside the box. You're willing to create new methods, new treatment methods, better methods to make things go faster, easier. They can put more accounts on a guy because you created something that cuts those time frames in half. And when you do, they're able to, instead of hire a guy, they're able to actually pay you more because you took that away. You made it so you didn't need another guy. And so those are some of the things that you're going to have to realize. So taking those stresses off, creating more ideas, creating more value, being more. So how to become more, it's honestly super simple. A lot of people don't understand it. They don't look into it. I had to do it when I got into the positions I got into. I was not an owner right away. I did not have, the privilege handed to me or a company handed to me, maybe like some have had. I actually had to work for it. I fought for it. I was going to college. That's all I was doing. I was going to college. My brother-in-law called me up. He said, come out, let's do this. I want you to sell for me. He created the business I own today. And how I got it was from the knowledge that I gained throughout the years of knocking doors. That got me in to the door. That actually got me at the door knocking, ready to get in. I still didn't even get in then. When I first came out to start selling for the company, I was just a regular sales rep. And it was strict. I mean, it was straight up, hey, look, you're coming out, you're helping us grow, you're helping us sell. That is your role. That's all you're here to do. There's nothing else for you to do here, okay? And that's what I stepped into, knowing that. And I was okay with that. I was looking to make a couple thousand, go home after the summer, and live off of that money while I go to school. A lot of guys who are, if you're a technician, you did the summer sales, you work for a company that has summer sales, you guys understand, you know it. But that's what I did. And as I sold that first year, I ended up creating so much value in being that guy that was there for my brother-in-law, the owner at the time, to eventually when that manager, his partner ended up leaving just out of nowhere. He was ungrateful. He didn't think that it was going anywhere. He thought he was getting underpaid and a lot of other things. But I was there. I showed that I was willing to work. I was willing to be there. I was willing to put in those hours. And that got me into now I'm in a partnership. I own part of a business. I didn't own the whole thing. I owned part of the business. And then over the years, as I was working and creating that value nonstop, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, putting in that time, I wasn't making anything, honestly, guys. I mean, I was barely scraping by at some time, at some of the, moments of my life, especially when I got married, and I was partner with a company that was doing, $300,000-$400,000 a year. And I was making less than technicians were making, and I was an owner. So that, I knew that though. And I knew and I understood as the company's growing, I need to put in that work. I need to be that rock. I need to be that foundation. I need to create those systems, those ideas to get this to the next level, to be able, to make that money, to make more money, to be worth more. And while I was doing that, YouTube was a huge help. I looked up a lot of different videos, how-to videos, learning a lot of things, filling my head with as much information as possible. Also, a huge one that if you haven't read it, you need to read it, is Think and Grow Rich. That one's a great book. I'm going to throw that out there right now. If you're a technician, you got plenty of time to listen to books. Go to Audible. It's $15 a month. You get a book a month, and you can just blow through books. It's so nice. And you can just fill your head with knowledge on business, on pest control, on whatever you need. Listen to podcasts like this one to give you ideas or to help you out to understand, what you can do to improve your life and to improve the business or the place that you're at. Because you don't just have to be in your place. You don't have to be broke. You don't have to be, living paycheck to paycheck. There's things that you guys can do to step out from that and get above and ahead of everybody else, especially your peers. And that's what I did. That's one of those things is how you can become more is you have to do more. You have to study more. You have to read more. You can't become more if you're just sitting there doing nothing. If you clock in and clock out, go home, hang out with friends, play video games, you cannot become more. There's nothing there. When you're not willing to stay a little bit after, and sacrifice that time that you could be with your family, you aren't going to become more. You're not going to be able to provide more for your family. Right now it's after hours. I actually did not have to do a podcast today. I was ready to go home. Anthony called in. He wasn't going to make it. And so I thought, you know what? I could just go home. Like, why would I stay? I've already been here 8-9 hours. I didn't even eat lunch today. I totally even forgot that I didn't eat lunch. My secretary, she's making fun of me because she's like, you haven't eaten today? And I totally forgot that I didn't eat. And so I had I was eating while I was working, but I decided, you know what? I'm going to throw this out here because there's a lot of guys out there that are ambitious, that want to get this, they want to go to the next level. And you can in your industry. You do not have to look outside pest control. And you do not have to start your own company to get that. that way. And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to explain exactly how. But guys, become more is doing more. Learn more. Step outside. Do what you can. Learn the insects. Learn the services. Learn the chemicals. Learn different chemicals. Learn different treatments. Constantly push yourself to learn more during the job, outside the job. Talk to the technicians that have 20, 30 years experience. Pick their brain. Get all the good. Throw out the bad. Do that on a consistent basis, day in, day out. I promise you, after a week, after a month, after 6 months, you will not be in the same position as you are. I'm going to give you a little story. I think this is kind of fitting because he's not here, but Anthony is one of those guys who became more. And, he came into the industry with zero. I mean, literally no experience. Okay. I'm not talking, he knew, he might've seen a couple bugs here and there, but he didn't know anything about the industry. He didn't know what a backpack sprayer was. He's never seen B&Gs. He didn't know any of that stuff. He's never touched that stuff. I'm pretty sure, he could actually correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't know anything. And so when he came in, me and him rode together in a truck for almost 3 months. Now, some of the mistakes he made, which, we laugh about now, is, he was studying and he got a call to get his test taken. And I straight up looked at him. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. And he's on the phone, on speakerphone, talking to this lady. And I keep telling him, don't schedule it. Please don't schedule it. You're not ready. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Monday, put it on Monday. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do it. I'll pass. And so he gets it scheduled. Right when he hangs up, I look at him. I'm like, dude, you messed up. Why'd you do that? You're not ready to take that test. I hate to be right on that because I had to end up paying for his test twice, but he didn't pass that first test, but he passed the second easy. But he came in with warehouse experience, with fast food experience, with, retail experience. He didn't come into this industry with any outside work. He never did any of that stuff. So he came in, he learned it all. He got it all down really well. He learned it very fast. When these old guys tell you, hey, you got to run a route for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever to learn it all, that's BS, guys. Don't listen to them. It all comes down to how much you're willing to put in it. It may take a guy 3 years to learn the pest control industry well, or 6 or 10. I know a few that have 6, 7 years underneath their belt and they still don't know shit, So I get it when it comes down to you need to go through that experience, but you only need to go through that time to gain that experience if you're only putting that 6 to 8 hours a day and you're only running a route and you're not doing anything extra. When you are going above and beyond, you're going to get way more experience under your belt than you would if you never did that. So what he did, he was going home, he was looking up YouTube videos, he was learning chemicals online, he was reading through different magazines from pest control that we got in the office. He took them home, he was reading them, while he's out, he's sitting on the toilet, guys, he's not doing anything. He's been there for 30 minutes. He's reading a magazine. He's gaining that knowledge. We went to Pest World. I'm going to make a plug for NPMA, just so you know, if they do listen, they're haters. So guys, NPMA, we're here to only help. I hope you listen to this. We are here to make amends. Don't be mad at us. I know you guys have a podcast as well, but we're trying to make this industry better. So I don't care if you have a podcast or not. I don't care if you think you're a competitor against us. You're not. We're all just trying to make this better, and we're trying to help each other out. It's a brotherhood. The industry's young, and we're trying to make it better. So, but NPMA, they do a Pest World. If you haven't heard of it, you haven't been, you need to go. It's awesome. You learn a ton of stuff from it. And you know what? He went out to one, I brought him out, and that first year he came back with a bunch of ideas. We started running with it. We're making money from those ideas. We've come up with new treatments that we're going to bring into the show as well. And we're going to teach you guys how to do those treatments, because we do believe that everyone should be on the same playing level. And we shouldn't screw our customers. If you're doing it a wrong way, I'm going to tell you guys are doing it a wrong way and you need to do it better. But that's not what this podcast is about. We'll change that up. We'll do that another time. But the point of the matter is he came in, he learned a bunch of stuff. He went to, Pest World, an owner. If you're listening to this, flip that bill. Your guys are going to be worth so much more after they go there. The stuff that they're going to learn now, if they're a bunch of bums, don't pay for them to go. Okay. If you're a bum and you're a technician and you want to go to Pest World, turn your shit around. Okay. Get on the ball, start doing better. I don't take bums to Pest World, and I never will. If I don't think you're worth, taking, I'm not going to take you. So if anybody who works here is listening to this, I hope I'm not going to take you if you're not going to put in the work. I don't believe in that. Okay. You better step up. You better start doing your work, and I'll take you to Pest World. But owners, take your guys to Pest World, the ones that need it. If you're not going yourself, go. Take a year, go by yourself. Next year, I promise you're going to bring all the good guys on your team. But Anthony stepped up. He stepped apart from that. He started bringing in a lot of information, and he went, I'm not going to say what his pay was or anything like that from the start to finish, or I should say start to now. But essentially, he has grown, and he's only been here, almost 2 years, maybe 2 years now. Let's just put it this way. He's making way more money than he was when he first started, by leaps and bounds. It wasn't your average 2 to 3% raise a year. No. He has quadrupled that, easily or more. But that's because he brought the value. He brought the security. He brought the level of, hey, I'm going to take this stress away from you so that you can do better. He has changed what we've done here, and he has done a great amount of work to set us above everybody else in this industry. From procedures, from paperwork, from everything, he has done a tremendous amount of work. And, the owners out there, when you push them to do that, I don't know how I got so lucky to have him doing those things. And I hope this doesn't go to his head when he does listen to this, but he has done a tremendous amount of work here, and he has changed who we are and what we are. And he has pushed me as an owner to be better and to step above that and be more organized in everything in every way. And so owners, when you find that guy, give them those classes, train them, push them. They are going to run with it. Now, there are some that aren't, but you're going to see that from the route. You're going to see that way before then. And if you're a technician, you need to be that guy. You need to be Anthony. You need to go to the owner. You need to go to the branch manager. You need to show them what your worth is. And that's how you can become more. So study, learn, and don't be afraid to say something, and don't be afraid to go to the owner and tell them when something's wrong. I've always been very open with my guys because I want to know what's happening and what's going on. Now there is something a little bit opposite of that. I was just talking to a guy recently, and he was going through and he's explaining that, he's sick of going above and beyond because it never pays out for him. And so now he's a guy that clocks in, clocks out, and goes home. And he's telling me, the owner, this. And so to me, I look at that guy, and I hope he does listen because he'll know exactly who I'm talking about. I hope he understands that, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that other managers and owners treated you that way and took you for granted, but I'm not that guy. I will be better. I am looking to grow. I'm looking for the best. And, when that guy's willing to step up to that position, he is going to get what he deserves, whether it be good or whether it be bad. I hope it's good, but I hope he can change and understand. Don't just come in and clock out. That puts you at the very bottom of the totem pole. That makes you just a route guy, and you're never going to go anywhere. You're going to stay that. You're going to stay a route tech. You're not going to move. And if that's what you want, you know what? Awesome. But be the best damn route tech you can be. Don't just be a guy who clocks in and clocks out. If you are just going to run a route and that's all you want to do, that's awesome. It's a lot of fun, to be honest with you. You get a lot of time. You can learn a lot of stuff, but be the best one that you can. And because if the owner comes to you and offers you a higher position, you can turn them down, but at least that owner is putting so much value in you that he will never get rid of you when he is offering you better positions and you turn him down. So at least do that. Now I wanted to bring up, guys, is how do you bring up a raise, to an owner? Another one, I had a guy who he kind of brought up a raise and kind of this weird, awkward, like, oh, well, wanted to talk to you about, maybe, making some more money. Like, that's what I was thinking, there could be something there. Don't do that. Have a set amount in your head. Set a meeting. Okay, I'm going to go over a few steps that are very simple. That's just 4 steps, what you need to do to guarantee a raise and, to actually bring that conversation up. So this is coming from a few things I've learned. Excuse me, guys. A few things I learned in what I've done, growing up. And kind of going through different industries, and then also, having a few family members who own a business, as well as, them being in higher up positions at a company. But first things first is set a meeting. Let the owner know, let the boss know, whoever it is, let them know, hey, I want to talk to you this day, this time. Are you available, or when are you available? Okay, set that date. The next thing is bring a list of accomplishments. Okay, ready? Don't say you've been running a route. Okay. That is not an accomplishment. That is what you were hired to do. Okay. So do not bring that in. Do not bring that up. Okay. If you're a route technician and you go in, you set a meeting with me, we sit down and you say, I've been doing my route and I show up on time and I clock out in time and I don't get overtime and I'm doing all these, I'm getting the route done. Yeah, that's what you were hired to do. I sure hope you're getting the route done. And now why should I be paying you a ton more money for doing your job? That's what you were hired to do. Now, so when you come in, you have a list of those accomplishments. Accomplishment is, hey, look, I've had less callbacks than everybody else. Compare yourself to others if you want to. That's okay. Don't do that when you're actually, with yourself and in a motivating setting. But when you go ahead and compare yourself to other technicians, show, hey, look, I get less callbacks than everybody else. I do not have a customer complaint, nor have I had one in the past 6 months. I have more star reviews on Google, Yelp, and with the system that we have than anybody else. I am the star here. I am killing it. Wherever you put me, I exceed. I've never said no. I'm taking over other guys' route. I'm doing more. I'm going above. I'm doing those things. I stay later if I have to. I take over routes. I stay for overtime. I am making this, and you can even say this to an owner, I am making your position easier. And when they hear that and you're confident, they're going to say, damn, that guy needs a raise. He has been doing those things. I do need to pay him more money. He's been a huge help. The other thing you need to do is you need to bring a list of goals with dates. These are, and the position that you want to get moved to, or at least have a set price of money that you want. Now, if you're making $15 an hour and you say, hey, I want to make $20 an hour, it's probably not going to happen. Okay. The reason why is you're not going to get that big of a jump if you haven't done anything. Now, incremental jumps within a 3-4 month period of time, and you keep doing that over the year to where you make a $5 extras, $5 more an hour. That's possible. But you have to have a list of goals with dates that you're going to accomplish those, and you need to let them know what those are and if you can have any feedback and what you need to change. You also need to have a set price. Look, I'm making $15 an hour now. I want to make $17 an hour. This is why. These are the goals I'm going to have. These are the dates I'm going to get everything done. Is there anything that you want me to do? And you want to ask the owner. You want to ask the boss, is there anything that you need me to do to make your job easier? And when they see that and they see that you're on the same team, you guys are looking in the same direction, that is where miracles are going to happen. That's when you're going to have more money in your pocket than you ever have. Now, you have to be willing and you have to get those goals done. If you don't follow through, they will get rid of you. They probably will fire you and they'll find someone else and they'll hire him back on for cheaper. And he's probably going to be a better guy. So, follow those negotiation tips. Be willing to work with them. Now, if it's been a bad relationship, and you're kind of hating on them or for whatever reason or whatever's going on, I totally get that. Do your thing. Go in there fighting. If they say no to it, walk out, go somewhere else. But I don't suggest it. I'm a firm believer at staying at where you work. The longer that you stay at one single place, the more money you're more likely going to make in the long run, and the higher you're going to get raised. The higher you're going to be on the totem pole by the time, within 5, 10, 15 years. You keep switching job to job, and I see that in this industry. Technicians jump from position to position. They don't even have time to negotiate their value with somebody. They just hear a guy who's willing to pay them a couple dollars more an hour or $1 more an hour, and they jump. I mean, I just did a ton of interviews, and I was sitting down with a guy, and he straight up told me, oh, here, I started here for this amount. I switched jobs 6 months later because they were going to pay commission. So I switched, and then I got another offer, and they were going to pay, hourly, but not commission, but it was a higher hourly. So I switched over there, and then I went over here because then they were going to match the hourly and pay me a commission. And so then I moved over there, but then right when I moved over there, I was there for a couple months, and then another guy came in and he offered me a little bit more. So then I jumped over there. I'm looking at this guy like, I'll never hire you. I will never hire you. Why would I hire a guy who's only, penny driven? It's not even money driven at that point. You're literally looking for these dimes and cents that are just going to, oh, look, I got a little bit more, so I'm going to jump. Dude, no one cares. There's zero value there. You're not willing to be loyal to someone. You're a whore. You're just looking for the next payout, and you get that. And so, as a technician, don't be that guy that jumps from company to company to company to company. Show your worth, show your value. Yes, it's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. That's okay. Millennials, sit down, relax. That's going to be okay. I'm a millennial too. You have to learn patience. It's not going to happen within a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. It's over years and years and years. And soon you can get to that position that you wanted. Now let's jump into the next thing. A lot of guys say, you know what? Screw it. I can get my operator's license. I can start my own business. Yes, guys. Yes, you can. You can start your own business, and call me when you want to sell your business, because I'll buy it from you. Because it's not as easy as it looks, okay? I'm telling you right now, and I tell everybody this, I would never start a pest control company with no money. I got lucky. My brother-in-law had a lot of money to put into it, and with that money, we grew it to what it was, and it was sustainable by the time I took it over, and then I made it better, and I grew it. Now, I would never start from scratch, because that means you're the office staff, you're the technician, you're everything. And you can't do everything. You're the salesman, and you're trying to balance 3 different positions. I balanced 2 positions on my shoulders, and that was hard enough, So don't even try to do that. There's a guy, I won't mention his name or anything, but he's looking to sell his company here in California, and he's had his company longer than this company's been open, the one that I own, and he has less than half of the clients I do. This is a one-man show. This is a guy who thought he could break off a bigger company and be an entrepreneur, and he didn't have any money to back it, and his company is not worth anything, really. He doesn't have very many customers, and so that's what I mean is it's very hard when you break off and you think that you have a route, everyone's happy with you. Everyone's happy with you because they're not the ones you're directly paying. They know that there's a boss over your head that they can go scream at if they need something done. But when you are that boss, it's a little bit different. The relationship changes. And so it's a little bit harder than you think. And I want to talk about, there is a difference between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. Anthony's a great example of being an intrapreneur. He's creating new systems, creating new services, and he has generated more money for him and his family than he's ever seen up till now. And he's young. He's a young guy, and the sky's the limit. He's making more at his age than I made at his age. Yeah, you can say, oh, that's inflation, blah, blah, blah. No. That literally, he's worth more than what I was worth at his age. And so you have to realize, being an entrepreneur, coming up with the ideas, being that guy, the awesome thing is you're protected. You're protected by the company. So you can think outside the box. You can be creative. You can do those things. And you have a company that's backing you, and you have zero stress. You don't have to worry about a thing. You don't have to worry if a check's coming in or not. You just got to think of the ideas and run with it. If the owner says yes, great, it works. If he says no, come up with a new way to talk to him about it until he says yes, and then run with it. When you're an entrepreneur and you start a company from scratch and you don't have any clients and you're starting from the bottom, you don't have that time. You're not able, you have the stress and the weight on your shoulders to where you can't think of new ideas. You don't have the time to think of new ideas because you haven't even completed the first idea of starting a successful company. And so you have to work on those things. And so remember, there is a huge difference with being an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. And you guys do not have to leave the company that you're at to create a company that in 7-8 years is going to have no clients, barely getting by, and you've just created another job for yourself and a bigger stress. At least at the job that you're at now, you can go run a route, go home, clock out, and you don't have to worry about a thing. If the truck breaks, who cares? It's not your truck. When you become an entrepreneur, now it's your truck. Now it's your tires. Now it's your oil changes that you have to pay. Now it's your gas. And then when you hire an employee, now you're giving them your truck, and you better hope that they're going to take care of that truck like you would. Most of the time that doesn't work that way. None of them care. The oil's at 0% and they just keep on driving and driving and driving. They don't care. And it's like, you want to shake them and hit them and say, you guys idiots, like, seriously, that's my truck. I pay a lot of money for that, but those guys don't care. They don't see that, and so, being an entrepreneur, you create a lot more stresses when you can just be an entrepreneur and make just as much money or more, creating those ideas within the company. And it's 1,000 times better without those stresses. I did it when I was partnered up with my brother-in-law. I was able to be that entrepreneur, coming up with those ideas. I didn't have the stress of, is there money or not? Because I knew that there was. I didn't have to worry about it. And then once I started taking over, now I was looking at that money. I was controlling that. And those stresses started coming up. But I got a guy in here, Anthony, who came in and he said, okay, let's look at this. Let's change it. He didn't have those stresses on his shoulder. He didn't have to worry about those things. And thank goodness he came in with those ideas, because he changed who we are and what we do. So guys, just a quick recap. Making more by being more, okay? When you're going to become more, you have to do more. That's the only way around it. And knowledge is the key to that. Not working more, no, knowing more, understanding more, coming up with more ideas. Understand your boss, understand the owner, understand his goals, his roles, what he's trying to do in the business, and learn how to take those stresses off of him and how to generate more money. That's how you're going to make more money. The other thing is bring up those raises when due. Don't wait till you're pissed off because you've been doing all these things and he hasn't been acknowledging that. Me and Anthony, it's been funny because, sometimes he's brought up, hey, let's talk about a raise. And I was planning on sitting him down anyway. So it ended up working out perfect for us, where we've been on the same schedule of, look, I wanted to give you a raise, and he's been wanting to ask for a raise. But if you ever feel that urge, or you ever think you need that, go in, talk to him, make sure that you are there. The other thing is, negotiating that raise, guys. Remember, set a meeting, bring a list of accomplishments, bring a list of goals with dates, and have a price set or position set. Simple as that. Do that. I promise you're going to get it. And then just double, triple think, quadruple think, make sure you're making the right decision before you leave a company and try to be an entrepreneur. You might be creating more stress on yourself than actually it's worth. So definitely do those checks and balances. Make sure that everything is going to work out better for you. Because an entrepreneur, you have way more opportunity, you have way more money to play with, and the sky's the limit within a company that's already set, it's already going, it's already running, than trying to get up, on your feet as an entrepreneur. So guys, I just wanted to thank you for listening in today. I know I was kind of running my mouth a lot. So I hope you guys learned something. But also just remember, make more by being more, set yourself apart, be a better technician, and do what you need to do to make the money that you are worth, making. And remember, the world pays you what you're worth. So if you're getting shit right now, it's because you're probably a big piece of shit. Okay? So just remember that. Keep up the good work out there, guys. Everybody who's listening in, make sure that you guys are going to follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Instagram's DNA Pest Podcast. Make sure that you are hitting likes on that. Make sure you are coming on. Tell other technicians about us. If you like us, if you hate us, leave a review. It helps us out a huge amount. But spread the word. We're trying to make this a better industry. We're trying to make technicians better. We are here to help in any way. So go to our website, DNA Podcast and .com, and send us an email. We'd love to look through that stuff. We'd love to learn about you guys, have you guys on the podcast, and help you guys out by spreading the word with your name, but also having your guys' experiences here on that podcast. Thanks for listening in, guys.